Good day, all of you. Our topic for today's discussion is direct and indirect speech. This comes as a part of transformation of sentences and needs to be paid special attention as there are quite a few rules that we need to follow while on this topic. What is the difference between direct speech and indirect speech? Indirect speech is also known as reported speech, as when a particular statement made by a person is reported to a third person, that kind of sentence is what we get under indirect speech. So, in direct speech, the message of the speaker is conveyed or reported in his own actual words without any change. However, in indirect speech, the message of the speaker is conveyed or reported in our own words. We will try to understand and follow the basic rules of this transformation with the help of an example. The direct speech sentence on your screen reads, Radha said, "My mother is very busy now." When we change this sentence to reported or indirect speech, the first thing that we have to do is omit the inverted quotation marks. This sentence already ends with a full stop, so there is no end punctuation mark to be changed here. However, in case of interrogative sentences or questions as well as exclamatory sentences, the indirect speech must always be ended with a full stop. The indirect speech sentence reads as, Radha said that her mother was very busy then. Here we are adding the word that to make the sentence in reported speech. This is the second change made here. The third change is where we change the pronoun my to her. The change of pronoun is very important and must be done keeping the gender and number of the noun in mind. So, a plural noun like boys will change to a plural pronoun like they, while a singular pronoun like I will change to a singular pronoun like his or her, depending on the gender. As you can see in this picture, this fourth change is very important as it deals with the change of tense. Here we need to remember that the tense does not remain the same when we change sentences from direct speech to indirect speech and vice versa. As reported speech or indirect speech is conveying a statement already made in the past, it is essential that we change the tense to maintain the meaning of the sentence. If you follow the picture that is coming on your screen, you will understand how the picture on your right is changing the tense of the sentence from the picture on your left. The picture on your left is a direct speech where a person is telling something or conveying an information, and the picture on your right is where the listener is conveying that same information to a third person. The next change is where the adverb of time has been made. The word now has been changed to then. A few such examples are this changed to that, today changed to that day, and so on. These changes are also very important for the transformation of sentences. This chart is also included in the video. There are two cases where there is no change in the tense of the verb. Firstly, when a direct speech sentence tells us a habitual truth or fact, like I said Cats are very naughty. This sentence speaks about the habit or nature of cats. Secondly, when a universal truth has been spoken, like, he said, the sun rises in the east. This is a universal truth which does not change with time. So, the indirect speech for the first example will be, I said that cats are very naughty. And for the second example will be, he said that the sun rises in the east. The changes made in the tense of the sentence given in the example is, the tense in the direct speech example is simple present. So, the indirect speech tense is changed to simple past. You will find a detailed chart of changes in tense required for direct and indirect speech towards the end of this video. When changing tenses from direct to indirect speech, you will be required to use appropriate reporting verbs. These need to be used depending on the meaning of the sentence. Here are some examples. When changing a question in direct speech to a statement in indirect speech, you can use reported verbs like asked or inquired of. When the direct speech sentence is an order, you can use ordered or commanded. So till now we have studied and understood the basic rules. Now it is time to apply these rules and see if we can understand the examples for a better comprehension of the topic. In the first example on the screen, we have a direct statement. The tense used here is present perfect tense. So when we are changing it to indirect speech, we will omit the comma between said and I, and its place we will put that. Remember, this rule is a common one, but in case of questions, we do not follow this rule. After this, we change the present perfect tense helping verb have to past perfect tense helping verb had. Sentences in present perfect direct speech are changed to past perfect indirect speech. We also change the pronoun I to he, and then the complete sentence reads as, Tom said that he had not received any gift. The second example is an interrogative sentence, or more commonly known as a question. Here we must remember the rule of changing the end punctuation mark from a question mark to a full stop. As this is a question, we will use a suitable reported verb like asked, and we will not use the word that in this case. The tense of the direct speech is simple present, and thus we change it to simple past in the indirect speech. The pronoun you has been changed to he. The syntax or format of the sentence changes as we are changing a question to a statement. Thus, the pronoun he comes before the helping verb was, and the complete sentence reads as, the man asked Rocky where he was going. As you can guess by now, we will try to cover as many types of sentences as possible in this video. So, the next sentence is a statement but with a sense of request. How do we understand this? By looking at the word please in the direct speech sentence. So we have chosen to use the reported verb requested in this sentence. Here again, we make the change of pronoun and complete the transformation. The fifth sentence is an exclamatory one and ends with an exclamation mark. Here as well, we will change it to full stop in the indirect speech. The word of exclamation, oh, as well as the sentence shows us that this is an exclamation of joy or surprise. So, when we change the sentence, we use the reported verb exclaimed and also add the phrase with joy to make the sentence proper in its meaning. The sentence, as spoken in the direct speech, is in simple present tense, even though the helping verb is not mentioned because of the structure of the exclamatory sentence. So, we will directly change it to simple past tense and rewrite it. The next sentence is a long one and has quite a few changes. There are two types of tense used here. The first one is present perfect with have made, and the next one is simple present with want. These two are changed into past perfect and simple past respectively. We must be very careful when changing the pronouns of such long sentences. As you can see, there are 4 changes, all of which have been underlined and they have been made accordingly. The reported verb used here is confessed because the direct speech sentence gives us a sense of confession or accepting one's own fault. As I have mentioned previously as well, the reported verb needs to be used depending on the sentence and its meaning. Here you can see a list of changes in place and time when we change sentences from direct to indirect speech and also the other way round. Remember to make the changes whenever and wherever necessary. And also remember that in cases of habits and universal truths, these changes are not applicable. This next list shows you the changes of pronouns. In the examples explained previously in this video, I have shown you how to change the pronouns. This list will give you a comprehensive idea about those pronouns as well. Now, this is the list of changes to be made in tenses of verbs when you are changing a sentence from direct to indirect speech and the other way round. You must remember the changes in tense very carefully because reported or indirect speech is completely based on the use of tense. The rules explained here work just the other way round when you are changing an indirect speech sentence to direct speech. So, I hope this video has been helpful and you will practice this topic for a better understanding of the concept.